First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. I wanted to pull that up. That is our ski bowl camera right there, taking a look at Mount Hood, and it still looks very summery out there as far as I'm concerned, and I appreciate that. I know it's going to get a little bit warm for some people right now if you're watching this live, but I'm all for it. I want to get as much as possible in, but that doesn't mean that fall isn't coming. Again, this is Fox 12 Now. We are live here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We're on our YouTube channel, Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, and then of course at KPTV.com. Click on the Fox 12 Now tab and download that Fox 12 Oregon app on whatever platform you're on, your phone, your Fire TV, your Apple TV, your Roku, all that stuff. But if you are a regular watcher of this show, you know on Thursdays at 1:30 p.m. we are joined by Eric Goranson from Around the House Northwest, always with some great tips, some advice, some tricks. And this one, as much as I don't want to say it, fall is not that far away. And now is the time to start preparing, which you've been helping us do here over the last few weeks. But this one in particular is probably pretty important for anybody with a lawn.
Yeah, thanks, my friend. This is always a great time of year to tackle these kind of things because here's the big thing. The work that we do now is going to help a little bit in the fall. But next spring, you're going to start out so far ahead, it's going to be so much better. I
love it. So that is this thinking ahead. And that way, I mean, I know that I usually don't do a good job of this. And then this spring, I'm like, why is my grass not coming back in? And what's wrong here? Probably because I'm not doing the steps that you're going to be telling us about right now.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of things you can do right now. You know, it's just that time of year that you can be overseeding and doing that stuff. But one of the things that I did this last year is I put in a new sprinkler system at my house because I wanted to see if I could save water and I wanted to test out this new system. My water usage is 50% less this year for my sprinklers than it was last year. And I'm just watering the places that need to be watered versus gravel walkways and stuff like that didn't need an ounce of water, but my sprinkler system was putting on there.
Wow. That's a big savings, especially with, you know, the price of water right now too. I mean, that could save you a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at my water usage on my bill, there's like this big, huge offset of last year versus this year, which is great. And so there's this new sprinkler system. If you're redesigning the lawn or you're like, hey, my system's busted up, I'm going to do a new one, I'm starting over, this is the perfect system for you. And it's made by a company called Green, and it's totally different. What they did is they took inkjet printer technology and they put it in the sprinkler head. So you have a controller like usual, but you actually have water pressure that goes out to that sprinkler head all the time. And then instead of having like in an average backyard, like 15 to 25 sprinklers, maybe 2, maybe 3 if you got a huge yard, and that will water all of it because it uses inkjet printer technology. So if you had like a grass yard that was shaped like a 12-point star, you can actually set with your phone, set it up, and actually make the star pattern, and it will actually move the water and water exactly in that star pattern, and you can adjust it. And because each head is like its own little computer, it knows the water pressure and it adjusts to that every single time. And I tell you what, it saves so much water, and it automatically is watching the weather, and it does all those things for you. So you can basically set it and forget it, because if it's 100 degrees outside or 70, it knows the right amount of water for you.
Wow, that's amazing. So it pairs up with all of those different things and just it really set it and forget it. So it's just like, okay, yeah. I've done this one thing. Now I don't really have to worry about it ever.
Yeah, what's cool is it kind of starts out with this little blob, and then you add points, and you can actually drag it in a setup mode. So then you can move that sprinkler, and it just goes from point to point to point around, and you can set like hundreds of points in this thing. And you're moving around, so you can go, oh, there's a walkway there. I don't want to get the walkway, but I want to get over here, and I want to get back into this square corner, but I want to do a radius here. So it's all those things that you can do, and it makes it so easy, and you can set it up, and it puts water exactly where you want it, which saves you a bunch of money, and it's a little better for the environment as well.
Very cool. All right, so that is one great piece of advice there that you can start doing right now. What's something else people should be doing?
So now's the time to start thinking about fertilizer. But, you know, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make out there with lawn fertilizer, most of us are probably putting too much or the wrong stuff on the yard. You know, we go down to the home improvement store and go, that'll work, let's do it. And you don't know really what it needs. And so I'm actually going to be doing a test here this fall with a company I've worked with in the past called Lawn Bright. They're a mail order service, but what you do is they send you a kit. You sign up for it, and it's a subscription-based thing where they send you kind of quarterly what you need based on your climate. You actually start out with a soil sample. So you send that soil sample in, they do the lab test on it and go, oh, you need these things. And then they send you organic fertilizer that's certified organic that you could basically put on the end of your hose, walk around the yard, put it on there, walk away and leave it. And they've got it for like some brand new products coming out that will help like dethatch the lawn and all these different things to really make sure that you've got all those things. And they tell you when to do it. So they'll send you a message and go, hey, it's time to hit that fall fertilizer. This is the week to do it. And they ship it to you. You go out there and it's start to finish. Instead of hiring a lawn care service, it's so much cheaper to have these guys come out there and they set it all up, man. And you basically walk around your yard with a hose end, take care of it. They tell you how to do it. And so much cheaper than, you know, having one of the big companies come in and spray whatever chemical they're putting on your yard.
Yeah, I love that too. So another great way to go about that and learn how to do it and you just mentioned save money. So saving money, that's something that 100% I'm always about.
And again, you're not putting all these weird chemicals in. This is all organic stuff, so it's natural. You're putting it on there. You're not worried about putting stuff into the waterways and all that stuff that can be a problem. This is just good old Mother Nature doing her best thing right there. So that's a great one.
There we go.
Big thing this time of year is aerating and thatching. You know, now that we're kind of getting into those out of those hot days, you know, if you look down and kind of spread the grass open in your yard and you see all that dead grass, great time to remove all that. Go through and thatch it. You can get one of those thatch rakes or head down to your home improvement center and tool rental and get one of those and run the power thatcher over it. You just don't want to do it after a big rain or after it's watered because it'll tear the lawn up. So it needs to be fairly dry, but go through there, thatch it, and then you can overseed and fertilize that. And again, that's going to really come up over the next few weeks, you know, water it in nicely. And then that's going to be so much of a lush greener lawn. And we have all these new seeds now that you can put in that are for shade, or if you've got all this stuff out there that's really meant for, you know, like dogs playing in the grass, you want something super hardy that's going to take it. They've got that. They got water saving grass. They got a ton of different things out there. So there's a lot of great stuff for it.
Where would you recommend going to find those kinds of different grass seeds? Like I'm interested in the one that's, you know, good for dogs tearing up lawns.
Yeah, I mean, head down to your home improvement store. I've been into some of the best selections, like around here, Wilco, Park Rose Hardware. Some of our local stores really have the good stuff. Sometimes when you get into the national stores, they kind of have, you know, national stuff on there that maybe is great in Kentucky, but maybe not so good out here in the Pacific Northwest. It's not as regional. So I kind of like hitting the local stores because they've got some of the local seeds that are really meant for our area versus something that's meant to fit all 50 states.
Yeah, good idea. Get somebody who knows what they're talking about when it comes to the local climate. Anything else that you think people should do?
You know, just it's a good time to go around and weed, you know, and get the weeds out of there. Get those out of there before they start going to seed again and coming back up in the spring. So I'm not a big fan of like the weed and feeds unless you've got a really, really poor quality lawn that's got weeds everywhere. But if you've got, you know, a couple dozen weeds out there, sometimes it's better just to get the weed killer and don't get the, you know, the Roundup or something like that. Get around there with some of the lawn weed killers so it actually will grow back. You grab the wrong stuff, you might not have grass there for a year in that spot. So you'll be dealing with that. But get the weed killer that's made for it, you know, follow the directions to the back, wear the goggles and gloves, whatever you need to do, and go around with that, spray the little spots of weeds and get those knocked down. And it's just healthier because you're not having to put all the weed killer down on everything.
All right, some great things to think about right there to get your lawn ready. And also, I mean, as you mentioned, save money and save time and hassle when it comes to the spring, and just to have that ready to go and be good and set up. For Around the House Northwest this week, anything that we can tease about what's going to be on this episode?
Yeah, we got a good one coming up. We're going to be talking to my buddy Jeff Kudus from MB Sentinel. He makes the box gobbler. And this is a safe that mounts in the wall, like in your garage or right going up to your porch, where basically all of your delivery packages like Amazon and all the different things that you would get out there, UPS, FedEx, you set it up, you give the driver a code and the delivery instructions, and it's a safe door that kind of opens up. They put the code in, put the packages in there, and literally closes up, and they go into your your laundry room or your garage or whatever, and it goes right through the door. And so you can absolutely eliminate those porch pirates coming up and grabbing something, because when that delivery driver comes in, they're putting it inside the house. So it's a much harder deal to get those packages after that.
I like that. And box gobbler is an amazing term. So that's
I love those guys. And it's just, it's a great way to just stop that from happening. And it's such, when you get into the fall and of course we get into the holidays, it's one of those products that's super cool. They've got different size stuff. It can go out by your mailbox, or if you've got a gated situation into a community, that can put it out there. They've even got little tiny ones that are meant for your front porch that are more of a little box versus something going through the house. So lots of different stuff. That's one right there. And then my buddy Chip Wade, you might have seen him on HTTV and all the different shows out there. He's my buddy who's he's coming on the show, and he's got some new products like dealing with pets and scratched floors and things like that. So some really cool stuff for around the house and new products out there that we talk about. That'll be in the show as well. And new stuff for the house is always exciting.
Yes, absolutely new stuff. And again, going back to the pet side of things, I've got a giant dog, so yes, scratches happen, and I can get around some of that. That's great. And again, that's all part, just a couple of parts of Around the House Northwest this week. And for everybody who wants to check this out, as they should, where and how can they watch this week's episode?
Yeah, no worries. If you missed last week's episode, you can catch it tomorrow morning, Friday morning, 8 a.m., Fox 12 Plus. And of course, this week's show that we're just talking about, that'll air 10 a.m. Saturday, Fox 12 Plus, and of course, Sunday at 6 p.m. And then, of course, you can always catch those segments on the Fox 12 website, that mobile app, and of course, the YouTube, where we've got a ton of videos on there as well. Tons
of them. Yeah. So go through there. Anything that you're thinking about, look through and see if there's a segment that Eric's already done covering some of that. Lots of great information, including this week, with tips on how to keep your lawn healthy going into the fall and save you the hassle in the spring. That's what I really like the most too. It's like, when spring comes around, I'm not going to be all mad about what I didn't do last summer. So
and the other thing is, if we have a really rough winter, it really can help the grass be a little more hardy, and you don't get that winter burn off. If we have like ice and snow that really damages, it just helps it be a little bit more hardy in the springtime. So you might end up having that lawn come back quicker and still have the greenest one in the neighborhood before you even did anything to it.
Nice. Well, Eric, as always, appreciate you joining us here for this segment here on Fox 12 Now. And for everybody watching, thanks for being a part of the show and joining us. And, as you can watch all the episodes some of those segments for Around the House Northwest and the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel, all those same places, you can watch the segments here from Fox 12 Now as well. But that's it for now. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everybody watching. We'll talk to you soon with more.